editor is a huge Batman fan. Like all of her social media is like Batgirl editor and stuff, and she just like that's how we bonded. But I've never met a bigger Batman fan, and she started out reading Killing Joke, like, and that meant so much to her for a variety of reasons. Just like how one bad night doesn't have to change everything in your life, and you can still, like, there are people out there who want to help you. It just meant so much to her that she's just like, she has an entire Batman room just covered in like art and toys and books. It's incredible. So yeah, it's I don't know, it's just something that, like, for such a thing like that, just story that Alan Moore probably, like, I'm sure he put a lot of work into it, but like was work for hire, and he's just like, yeah, just write this creepy story about the Joker, and turned out it meant everything to somebody. It's
Seems
power of
like
writing.
when Alan Moore is not like worshiping the snake or whatever other crazy stuff he does, he just spills out brilliance on the page like it's
Oh yeah.
nothing.
Mhm.
Or
And
so it appears on the
I love
outside.
that story about his fake snake that he, yeah.
I mean, his Swamp Thing stuff was just phenomenal.
Oh yeah. I One of my favorites is his Promethea, just both about writing and like communication and literature and everything, but just so beautiful. And that was J.H. Williams. But yeah, I could talk about comics all day.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that the story of Barbara Gordon going from Batgirl to Oracle, and seeing that resilience is, I think, one of the more touching stories he's ever written.
Oh yeah.
And then they did the animated movie version that's made it creepy and weird, which. But then you get like the Watchmen TV series, where I feel like they improved upon Alan Moore. Like, I think if you gave Alan Moore 100 years to write, he's not writing that version of Watchmen. But
No,
Damon Lindelof comes along and I think outdoes him in some ways.
it was definitely like, I feel like they both kind of did a timely story for their times, and like we're just so distant from the 80s now that the original just feels very like product of another time. And yeah, the HBO series just felt so timely at the time. It and I never heard of the Tulsa thing. Like, that was all news to me. I can't believe, like, we never were taught about that kind of thing.
I had, but only recently. My wife is African American, and my father-in-law early on would sit me down and say, "Hey, there's probably some gaps in your history. Let me fill you in." So, I learned that and many other things just chilling out in the backyard with him.
Oh, that's a great way to learn it.
But they didn't cover it in school.
Yeah.
So, did you learn about Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech? Okay, well, we've covered that subject. Race, that's
Yep.
done.
Civil rights, easy.
You
You
watch
learned
Truth,
everything you need to
that's
know.
it.
Yep.
Well, I feel like that, that should be the start of the show. Us talking about Alan Moore and Batman. So you've got Star Wars action figures, and what kind of action figures do you have all over your home?
I have Star Wars. That was huge for me growing up. Like, in kindergarten, I had to do an assignment like, what are you thankful for Thanksgiving? And I found that paper years later, and it just, everyone else is like, I'm thankful for my family or my dog or something, and I'm like, I'm thankful for Han Solo primarily because he saved Luke. I'm sure at that time, because I was born in 1977, so I wouldn't have even seen the first movie. I must have seen it in re-releases and seen, like, probably had like all the books and stuff. It's amazing to think how we didn't have access to movies and everything until they were either back out in theaters, or we waited till VHS like developed at that time. And it actually, it's like a fascinating thing to me how culture has changed because of that, because we've developed into so much more of like um, an iterative process based on stories that everyone kind of knows now, because you can watch things so often over and over, which wasn't always possible. Uh, Books you could, but things like movies, so you get this larger portion of the population who has seen something and seen it so many times they can quote it and everything, uh, and as opposed to like having to go to like a midnight showing or something to find those kind of people. So you have like this enormous pop culture, like kind of unconscious knowledge throughout our society that you can play with and just delve into and go to really fun places, which not to segue, but that's actually why that was one of the things that drew me to fairy tales, because it's the same kind of thing. Everyone knows these stories. Everyone, they don't even remember maybe when they first heard like Little Red Riding Hood or anything, but it was taught and they were shared at such an early age that people have this knowledge inherent in their mind that they probably don't even remember how much they know about it, until you start reading something hopefully like this, where I played with all these characters and I changed them slightly so that there would be some surprises. But I was able to do that because the knowledge base was already there. I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. I didn't have to go back and explain who the big bad wolf would be, or why there's a giant beanstalk. Those kind of things are already like inherent in kids and adults even. So I could just play with them and twist them and have all kinds of fun with them. So yeah, I love kind of playing with anything that there's just that knowledge base is there, because you can build off of it, you can twist it, you can trick people in a good way, hopefully, with twists. So yeah, and I've always kind of wondered how much that affected things, just having like VHS and then Blockbuster and DVDs and everything, so people could binge watch before even streaming, and just kind of develop that like love for something that becomes so intrinsic in news stories. So yeah, sorry, I just kind of went off on a long tangent.
It's a thing that we're approximately about the same age. So, we have some of the same cultural memories. And I had Superman 2 on Betamax as a boy. And I would watch Superman 2. And then for my birthday one time, my parents said, we could rent Superman 1. And I'm, there's a Superman 1? Oh my God.
I love that. It's just like, that's the name of the movie. It's just Superman 2. It has no, like, that would have 100% been me. I've been like, wait a second, this was numbered. I just would have thought he was like Superman Jr. or something. I don't know. Superman 3 scared me far more than I'm sure it was intended to, with the woman who falls into like the circuitry and everything, and turns into the robot. Oh, hated that. Like the stuff where he fights himself, nothing. But as soon as that woman falls into the circuitry and emerges as like a robot, very eerie for whatever reason.
My parents would not let me watch Superman 3, so I didn't see that one until I was in, I think, almost fourth, fifth grade. So by then, special effects had improved a little bit, and it wasn't that terrifying to me.
That also had Richard Pryor. It was a strange movie.
Yeah, Superman 3 is one that I've taught, just real quick off tangent, but when I teach classes on writing about how you want to make sure that your conflict escalates constantly through a story, and your most exciting conflict should be your finale. Superman 3 is the example of where I use where they screwed that up, because right before Superman fights the cyborg, Superman fights Superman. That's the biggest conflict. It's not going to get bigger than that. And then the rest of the movie kind of feels like a step down.
That's a great writing lesson. I hadn't really even thought about that. It's been so long since I've seen that. I've gone back and watched the first one many times because just it's so charming. Like, I don't even want to watch the stuff with Lex Luthor. I just want to watch him like saving cats from trees and just smiling at people and being like, Christopher Reeves is just amazing. But I need to go back and watch Superman 3 now just to get a good writing lesson. That's amazing.
High definition has not been its friend. I find that's true of a lot of older movies. The special effects don't hold up with our ultra high 4K, 8K TVs. Yeah. And you can see the strings that are holding up Christopher Reeve and all that.
Yeah, I imagine stuff like makeup too, which, I'm sure they were never thinking that we would be able to see so much and so clearly. So like the makeup wasn't ever done for that reason. And it was done, I'm sure, to be broadcast like on a flickering screen that, the probably wasn't a great focus and everything else. So all of that makes for interesting viewing.
I was convincing at the time, but like matte paintings don't hold up in high definition.
No. And while I'm not, I was never like a big fan of like the special editions that George Lucas did. I can sort of see why he would feel that way, that he'd want to like update, especially for someone like him who was like all about pushing the technological envelope the whole time. So I'm not a huge fan of some of the changes he made, but I get it now watching them and like 4K and stuff. Like it just, you're right. It would have been a disconnect that just wasn't necessary.
I'm sure that wherever he's at, there's a part of him that wants to go back and do a new version.
Which would be fascinating.
I would definitely pay.
Oh yeah.
My wallet already is in my hand, sir. Let's do this.